Hello, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome. Who have we got on tonight? Welcome to Mindset and Confidence for Creatives. We have Kirsty Emma here. Hi, Kirsty Emma. We've got Kate. We've got Trixie. Awesome. We're going to be a little interactive tonight, but feel free to turn your videos off if you'd just like to kick back. But it's wonderful to see. If you'd like to just pop in the chat boxes, there's Kirsty Emma. Hello. Hi. Let's just pop in the chat boxes to introduce ourselves to each other, what kind of creative areas we're into. So I am familiar with some of you, but if you just want to pop into the chat box, who you are, where your creative interests lie, that would be awesome. For those of you who don't know a little bit of my background, is I been in musical theatre for many, many years, writing and performing and producing, and that's been my journey, which has encompassed all sorts of different areas of creativity, from the writing side of things to the music, the drama, the pulling the cast together, everything like that. But what I'm just going to do, we've got a few more people joining us. Hello, hello. Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Vicki, for those of you who haven't met me before. What we're doing now is we're just popping in the chat box what kind of creative areas you guys are interested in. I know I work with all sorts of different creatives, as you'll find out, writers, artists, music makers. We've got Kirsty Emma is in theatre directing and producing. Trixie is a jack of all trades. Yes, love the jack of all trades, master of diversity. And Kate is a painter. Awesome, Kate. Alex is a writer. Fantastic. As you'll see throughout the evening, what I have learned on my journey as a creative and as a coach is that even though all of our different creative areas can be quite diverse, and each person, even in the same sphere, will bring their own thing, the human mind and the human psyche and the human heart are all very similar, and our struggles and our creative process is very much the same. And for those of you who have come on tonight, something in the words mindset and confidence have resonated with you, and so you're wanting to, and we'll look into this a little bit later, you're wanting to take control of your mindset and build your confidence so that you can move forward in everything that you are wanting to do. Olivia, hello Olivia. She's a budding writer, currently a spatial design manager. That's fantastic. I love the word spatial. Just conjures up all sorts of three-dimensional and maybe other dimensional spaces. But I want to jump right in tonight. Thank you for introducing yourselves as well. Actually, it might be fun to find out where everyone is calling in from tonight. I'm in Auckland, but just pop in the chat box where everyone is popping in from. Our previous webinar, we had someone dialing in from the UK, some from Australia. I've got one of my clients is in Sweden, just moved back to Sweden. So lots of different nationalities represented. I had someone from a background in Turkey, someone from Bulgaria. Looks like we've got quite a few Aucklanders here tonight, which is wonderful. Yay for daylight savings. Who's into daylight savings? Woohoo, yes, some waves, which gives us extra time after our work hours are finished to do our creative thing, which is fantastic. Mairangi Bay, Turkish, but in Auckland, Nihan. Yes, Nihan and I met recently, which is wonderful. Great to have you joining us, Nihan. I want to dive straight into things tonight, give you as much value as possible, and hopefully have some time at the end for questions as well. But we're looking at mindset and confidence tonight. We're going to be a bit interactive. I'm going to actually, I want this to be informal, and I'm going to actually get up and demonstrate some body confidence, body shifting confidence techniques at some point. Feel free to stand up and move along with me, or if you'd rather turn the video off and just do it in the privacy of your own room, that's absolutely fine. But I love to meet creatives. I've had to transition during this year from running live events to running online events, as so many people have had to make that shift. But it does mean that we can bring creatives from all over the world and equip and empower and see you guys doing the things that are in your heart to do. It's my heart to, and I'll talk about this as well tonight, that as much as it's awesome to have a great mindset and great confidence and to avoid those feelings of fear, we don't just want to avoid the feelings, we want to actually take the action that fear and a lack of confidence keep us from taking. So yes, we want to feel good about ourselves, but it's more than that. We want to do the things that we do when we feel confident. So I'm all about taking action, and I'll have some content around that tonight as well. Now, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go, ready to shift mindset, make some changes, have some transformation. Fantastic, guys. I'm going to share my screen. Please bear with me. I am still getting my head around all the technology. So if it is a little bit clunky, then please just go, she's new to technology, but I'm a very old hand at creativity. Far too many decades now. I think I just paused the recording for a second, but it's back on again now. I'm going to share my screen and show you my slides so we can move into tonight's content. So welcome everyone. I love talking to creative people. Creative people tend to be the most interesting, the most deep, the most thinking kind of people, and the creatives that I meet, at least, always have such big hearts and want to share what they have done and what they've got to, what they see with the world. It's like when you're a creative, it's like you want to do the thing that you do and then share it with the world so that they can be blessed, so they can have hope and inspiration and beauty and connection. So the creative people that I've met have all been very, very generous and beautiful souls. I'm going to make that a little bigger. And oh yes, I wanted to tell you right up front that I have a super surprise at the end of tonight, which I haven't offered before, but I have a gift for those of you who are looking to go further with what we're doing tonight. So hang on to the end. I have a super surprise that's really going to help people to get action and get vision and clarity around where it is that you're going. I'm sure you're all on different phases of your journey. Maybe you've just completed a project, maybe you have something inside of you that you're wanting to move forward on, but I'm going to talk about how to put some structure around that as well, and this surprise is going to really help with that. But what the main thing I want to talk about tonight is what I call the 4-step belief upgrade formula. I'm going to be unpacking that. I hope you've all downloaded the worksheet. I'll remind you of the website for that in case you need to, but otherwise you can follow along just with pen and paper, and I do advise you to take notes. But we want to look at how we change fundamentally the belief systems that we operate out of. I don't know if you are familiar with the phrase limiting beliefs, but often when we're just jogging along through life and we hit up against something that gives us an emotional reaction, it's often because we have a limiting belief in place that we can, with this 4-step belief upgrade formula, we can look at unpacking that and moving past it so that it doesn't keep us stuck and the same. In case you're not familiar with Zoom, I'm assuming that most people are because we've had to fast track our Zoom knowledge this year, but the chat button is just down there as you can see, and do be chatting during the night. I'll try and multitask and have a look at the chat as we go, but if you do have questions or comments at any point, just pop them in the chat and I'll keep monitoring that too. Little bit of housekeeping. I do encourage you to have a pen and paper to take down notes, because I'm going to be giving you lots and lots of stuff, lots of really helpful things that you can take away. So not just things that you can enjoy in the moment, but I want to, if what I'm talking about doesn't actually spill over into Friday and spill over into your tomorrow, then it's not giving you the value that I want to set you up with. So make sure you're noting down everything that resonates with you. And if you have any questions, yeah, just make a note of them and you can ask those at the end. I'll try and get to those because we're going to go very fast. I've got a lot to share with you tonight. Do stay focused. I know that sometimes it's easy to kind of be distracted with what's going on around you. Do encourage you to turn your phones off and leave them, because this is your time. This is the time for your dreams, and your dreams are too important to tomorrow go, oh, what was it that she said about this, when it was something that could have really helped you. So be focused, be engaged. If we're asking for responses, the more you respond, the more you will get out of this evening. So like anything, you'll get out as much as you put in. Learn and do. Think about how, but I always, when I'm taking notes, I like to write down things that resonate with my mind, but also remind me of things I want to do and take action on. So sometimes I'll have 2 lists going in my notes. And most of all, have fun. Have fun. Give us a whoop whoop. Can I see a whoop whoop if you're going to have fun tonight, which is awesome. Fantastic. Let's keep moving. If you do need to access the worksheet for tonight, that's the address there. bit.ly/MCWS2020. I'm actually going to pause for a second and pop that into the chat box just so that everybody can have that. And I need to put everyone, so that's bit.ly MCWS2020, and that will be what we're going to be going through as we get to that belief upgrade formula as we go along. But just for your own to get your juices flowing, to get you kick-started on the journey I want to take you on tonight, just have a think about what has brought you here tonight. You might have seen a Facebook ad, you might have seen something pop up in your news feed, you might have seen something on Eventbrite or the other different places that I connect with people. And obviously, of all the different things that flashed past you, there was something about this mindset and confidence for creatives that grabbed you. So just bring that to mind and keep focusing for a start on what it was that brought you here tonight. And the question that I always like to ask people is, because it's not just about getting stuff done and doing things, it's about the reasons why. And my company is called Creatives on Purpose. And I always like to talk about the purpose behind the things that we want to do. The creatives that I speak to, we use words like, I just knew I needed to do it, or it was meant to be, or it was the only thing that I loved to do, or there was something inside of me stirring. So a question that I would pose to you is, why is it important to you to live your dreams? Why are the things that are burning inside of you worth pursuing? What made you decide to come on this webinar tonight when you could have been watching TV or going out with friends or making a nice meal or anything else? Why is it important to you to live your dreams? And the more you can put language around that, the stronger it will become inside of you. Because the flip side of why is it important to you to live your dreams is the other question of, what would it mean for you if you didn't live your dreams? The famous quote is, don't die with the music still in you. Don't die with the dream unfulfilled. So if you did get to your 80th birthday and weren't able to, or look back on your life and you hadn't done the things that you were dreaming to do, what would that mean for you? How would that make you feel? And I don't like sitting in these feelings for very often, but it's good to just come here every now and again to remind ourselves that the dreams in our hearts are so important that we need to take the time, we need to overcome the challenges, we need to do the work to make them happen. Because again, what would that mean for you if you didn't end up living your dreams? I wanted to take a moment to look at the things that are the opposite of the confidence and the mindset that we're wanting to go into tonight. So there's three main ones. I'm just going to stop my screen for a moment while I share about self-doubt, fear, and negativity. I see mindset issues stop creatives more than anything else. Mindset is actually the thing that can make or break your dreams, because you can be clear on your vision, you can know what you want, you can have the time and even the money and the energy set aside to make it happen, and then you can be all set to take action, but then something triggers an emotional response and suddenly everything's too hard, or it's not meant to be, or we find all these reasons, these limiting beliefs come up, and we stop taking the action that would move us forward. So that's why I focus on mindset and personal development, because it's so important to keep our headspace and our heart space clear and on our side. Creatives are, the cliche, the typical, all creatives, we're seen as kind of scatterbrained and emotional, and as creatives, we need to be emotional, because emotion is part of the currency that we use to bring our gifts to the world. So we need to be in tune with and in touch with our emotions, but not ruled by them. They make a great servant, but a terrible master, like so many things, like social media, like television. Our mindset, our thoughts and our feelings make a great servant, but a terrible master. So that's why it's so important to take the time to learn the techniques that will help us with our mindset and enable us to fulfill our dreams. So I'm just going to share my screen with you again here as we look at the self-doubt, the fear, and the negativity. These, I teach around how our mind is like a garden. I like to talk about the mind as a garden, and we reap the fruit in our lives of the seeds that we plant there and the trees that we allow to grow. So you guys are amazing. You've taken a first step tonight to uproot weeds of self-doubt, weeds of fear, and weeds of negativity. And these things seem to be, in one sense, beyond our control. But self-doubt and fear and negativity, they're coming from mindsets that we've created. They're coming from belief systems that we've built up inside of ourselves. So tonight we're wanting to overcome that self-doubt, overcome that fear, overcome that negativity through really looking at our belief systems and training ourselves to shift and change those. I want to look briefly at the old way of dealing with creativity, the old way of doing creativity versus the new way. In the past, In the past, creativity can be a case of getting stuck in self-doubt and procrastinating. Whereas the new way is about learning mindset techniques and strategies to move us forward. And it is a new day, and there is so much more help available for creatives as well. The old way consisted of trying to figure things out alone, but the new way is about having support groups, coaches and mentors. And that's why online forums are so great, because we can connect with each other all around the world. And the last thing that makes me really excited is the old way of doing creativity was about waiting for opportunities, knocking on doors and seeing if people would give us permission to do the things we love to do. But today, with all that's available to us online, all the platforms that we can use, we can put our stuff up on our websites, on YouTube, on Facebook. Today, instead of waiting for opportunities, we can proactively create our own opportunities, which is what we want to clear our mindset and build our confidence to do, so that we can get out there and be proactive, taking that action. The three things that I have found really drive creatives, so when we talked earlier about why is it important to you to build your creative dreams, is first of all, a sense of purpose. Creators on Purpose, that's my brand, and that's because I believe that without a purpose, then our creativity is just an empty, what's the point? Why are we doing this? But when we're driven by a sense of purpose, when we have a message, when we have something that's burning inside us, that's when we look like this lady. That's when we live in that fulfillment and that meaning. The next thing is potential. We feel that there's potential inside of us. You feel that there's potential inside of you that you want to bring forward. And even though you will have had some wins already, you feel that there's more. There's so much more creative potential inside of you. And I totally believe that. The power of the human imagination is incredible, and each human being has so much gold and treasure inside them. And we were born to live our dreams. You were born to live your dreams. You weren't supposed to live small and bored and stuck in jobs you don't like or schedules you don't like. You were born to live your full potential. And the third thing that I would say that drives us as creatives, that we're longing for, is that joy and satisfaction of a project completed, of a story or a painting or a song or a piece of artwork or a piece of fashion designed and finished and completed, so that we can share it with the world and feel that joy and satisfaction for ourselves. Another question for you as we go into mindset and confidence: what is your ultimate vision? And you might want to make a few notes of this. Is it about doing the creative things you love? Is it about having something to show for your dream, not just talking about what you'd like to do or thinking about what you'd like to do, but actually having something completed that you finished that you can show to people? Is it that feeling of fulfillment and purpose as you contribute, as you add your creativity to the great canon of work over the hundreds of years that human beings have been being creative? Is it about living your full creative potential? And is it about that daily joy and satisfaction? The life of a creative, when you're living your dream, when you're in that flow, as I'm sure you've each experienced, there's just nothing else like it. And we want to keep you in that place more and get you out of the negative stuff more as well, so that you've got more happiness, joy, and satisfaction, and less of the negative self-doubt and fear. The world awaits your unique creative expression. In all of the history of mankind, the 8 billion people that are on the earth today, no one can express themselves creatively in exactly the same way that you can. And I love to see creatives blossom and shine and come forth. Some of the creatives on the call tonight, I've seen your work. I've seen you blossom and grow, and I've seen things come to pass that just did not exist before. And that's part of the creative journey as well, bringing something to the world that did not exist before. So that's why I want to see creatives get unstuck and move forward. Quick rundown of tonight's program. We're going to look at the 4-step belief upgrade formula. There's a bit of an acronym going on. Get newer. We're going to turn limiting beliefs into empowering attitudes. I've got some masterful body shift techniques to manage our body's response to fear, because often we feel it in our physical bodies, and our minds and our bodies are so closely related. I've got some helpful content for you there as well. We're looking at the 3 foundation focuses for strong confidence to turn fear into courage, how to focus your mind into the right places to keep yourself in that confident place, and how to fast track your journey. I'm going to do a live coaching demo to show how I, as a coach, work with creatives and take all of this stuff, help people with their mindset and get them taking action. Little quick talk about me. As I said, I am the founder of Creatives on Purpose. We've been running that since March 2018. We've just gone on to our live events, online events, but we had been running live events up till that point. I've been writing and producing original stage musicals in New Zealand and Australia and the UK. I studied in the UK, got my master's degree there, and have interned with theatre companies in Brisbane and lived in Sydney for a while as well. I've been a certified life coach for the last few years because I wanted to take everything that I'd learned and help other people not have to have the same struggles that I've had to go through. And also I have, worked with hundreds of creatives in musical theatre. I meet with so many different creatives in different spheres, from dancers to technicians, and everything in between, to help people live their dreams. And that's my passion. I want to help you tonight to live yours. Oh, that's just a few snaps of the shows that I've been involved with. We did A Pirate's Tale and Mr. Scrooge as well, A Christmas Carol. And I also run events to help creatives just like yourselves. And as a quick touch on the different creative types that this kind of event is for, you've got your writers, your artists and designers, music makers, performers and presenters, craftspeople and technicians, creative leaders, and creative entrepreneurs. So I'm assuming that you'll be able to find yourself in at least one of these boxes. And if you can find yourself in at least one of these boxes, then you're in the right place. The thing that sets creatives, successful creatives apart, like I've been saying, is mindset that sets you up for action. And that's what we're going to be, that's what I teach on in the 7 elements of creative dream building. You'll see that we're going to be looking at mindset tonight, but there's actually 7 different areas that I teach creatives on, starting with vision, and then harnessing your resources, your time and money and energy, then getting into action, how to get into flow and how to persevere. Mindset we'll look at tonight, how to keep upskilling so that you can be an expert in your field, getting supported, doing the journey with other creatives is so important, and then your network of audience and partnerships and your branding. There are also other things that I teach on, and more today, creatives are needing a personal brand and something to stand out in the marketplace. But as you know, tonight we are focusing in on your mindset, and as I've said, your mindset can actually abort the things that are inside of you. Mindset can make or break your dreams because it's going to either keep you moving forward, taking action, or keep you from taking action. This is a very interesting question. Where do our thoughts and feelings come from? Many people have the understanding that our thoughts and feelings just happen in the moment. They're triggered by things that go on around us. They're triggered by other people, by circumstances. It starts to rain. I have a thought, I have a feeling. It's just automatic and there's nothing I can do about it. But I absolutely challenge this mindset, because our thoughts and our feelings come from our belief systems, the things that we have proved to be true or believed to be true, and have, with giving ourselves further and further evidence, have reinforced over the years until they've become a belief that isn't even questioned anymore. We don't think to question whether like when it's raining, that's a bad day. That sounds like a fact, but it's actually a belief. I personally love rainy days when I don't have to go out in them and I can stay home and watch a movie. For me, a rainy day is a great day. But for other people, the belief system is a rainy day is a bad day, because it's coming from the thoughts and the feelings are coming from the belief. And then if a rainy day is a bad day, if it's raining, therefore I'm sad, therefore I'm depressed, therefore I'm stuck, therefore I'm down, therefore I'm going to stay in bed and watch TV and not do anything about my creative work. All from just one belief that we think is actually a feeling. It's just manifesting itself as a feeling. With the 4-step belief upgrade formula, which we're going to go through now, we're going to take the root belief, we're going to narrow it down to the root belief, and we're going to rewire our brains, because our brains with neuroplasticity can actually take on new belief systems. You can teach old dogs new tricks, and we're going to put fresh beliefs in place so that you can move past the old belief, change your response and your emotional triggers so that things that used to trigger you won't trigger you anymore, which is really wonderful. Our brains are incredible. But what we're going to do just before we get into the belief upgrade system, have a little think about what limiting beliefs are holding you back. Are there things in your world, in your mind, in your heart that have been keeping you from taking action? When you think about taking action and something stops you, what is the belief? If you think about, okay, I'm going to start a creative project, and then a fear pops up or a negative thought pops up and says to you, it may be something like, you don't want to put yourself out there because you might fail and you might look stupid and then you will feel really bad. Or you don't want to take that action because it would be much more fun to go over and spend time with your best friend and have a wine. Or you might go to take action and a belief pops up that says, oh, it's actually really arrogant to put yourself forward as a creative, so you should stay small and not be self-centered and look at me, look at me, look at me. So these beliefs that are holding us back are, they're tricky, but when you see the emotional triggers, these are not supposed to dictate our actions. They're just supposed to make us go, hold on, what's happening here? What's happening here? So I'm just going to stop my sharing for a moment, and I'm going to pop us into some breakout rooms so we can have a little chat with each other. And so the question is, what are some of the limiting beliefs that have been holding people back? So I'm going to pop us into a few different rooms, and I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to have a chat with that. I'll see you in a moment. And we're coming on back. We're coming on back. Lovely. Like everyone's coming back in again. Woohoo! Who met some really cool people? Who met some interesting creatives? Lovely. Excellent. Let's just pop into the chat any little beliefs that have been popping up in our chat that we'd like to shift, we'd like to get change and upgrading on. So if there's something that keeps popping up for you every time you try and take action, the same belief, fear of what people think on social media, oh my goodness, that is huge, especially for creatives, but for everyone. But when you're bringing something that you've created that's new, that's come out of the depth of who you are, it can be a very vulnerable thing. Not feeling good enough, the fear of rejection, these are big ones as well, and they manifest themselves in our bodies as well as in our minds and keep us from taking action. So what I want to do now is self-doubt and what defines success exactly. And we need to have our own definition of success, but at the same time, we're part of a culture that defines success in ways that we may or may not measure up to or even want to measure up to. Fear of failure. Can I still do this, and does it have a purpose? The search for purpose is endless for creatives. We want to keep on that track. Thank you, Kirsty, Emma, for sharing. Thank you, Trixie, Alex, and Kat, and everyone for sharing. So let's dive into getting rid of some of these negative beliefs, some of this self-doubt. So I'm just fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not feeling good enough. Yes. The great news is, everyone, that we all struggle with the same things. It's so funny because we all think it's just me and everyone else. But to each of us, we are all me and everyone else is all everyone else. And so we are everyone else to other people. So bringing the power back to ourselves and deciding, like Alex is deciding for ourselves what success is, what we want our lives to look like, is bringing back that power. And I'm going to talk about power later, and that superhero mentality, that confidence that just stares down the enemy of self-doubt, the enemy of not being good enough, the enemy of failure and rejection. So wanting to get this into our bodies, get this into our minds. So let's get stuck into the 4-step belief upgrade formula. And I call it the belief upgrade because we don't necessarily want to think that there's something wrong. We just want to upgrade our beliefs. So if you've got your worksheets there, you'll be able to follow along. Otherwise, just make some notes in your note. The first step when we feel a negative response, when we feel an emotional reaction, when we want to move forward in something, and yet at the same time there's something holding us back, it's important to I like to make the noise like ding, 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 ding. There's something here. There's a signal to see for us to dig deeper into. There's a root belief here. There's a limiting belief. And the first thing to do is to name that root belief. There's something about when a belief or a thought or a feeling is floating around in our subconscious mind without a name, without language around it, that makes it sort of like, it's like a gas. It just permeates every little nook and cranny and corner. But if we name it, like you guys have just done so amazingly, if we name it fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, then it puts language to it and it takes it out of the nebulous gray space and puts itself onto a piece of paper so that it's no longer here, but it's here in front of me. Does that make sense? So it's not affecting my mind, it's down on a piece of paper and I can look at it and I can examine it. So the first thing to do when a belief is triggered is to write it down, which we've already started doing. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of wondering what success means. So once we've named that root belief, the next thing we can do is we can examine it. We can have a look at this thing and go, okay, let's go fear of failure. Fear of failure. It's even with a name, because we're as a society starting to talk more about vulnerability, which is so beautiful. I love the work of Brene Brown. She's brought vulnerability into the common language of all of us to remind us that we all feel the same way. We want to examine the root belief and go, is this true? Is this true 100% of the time? Is it true in every case? Is there a possibility that this might not be true? Let's look at the evidence for and against it. So something like the fear of failure, we can examine this belief, that because fear of failure, that's the name of it's not quite the name of the belief, it's the theme of the belief, but the name of the belief would be, I would say, would be, if I try this, I might fail, and that would mean, and then put what that means to you. So fear of failure, when you look at a little kid who is trying something new for the first time, they don't have a fear of failure, even though they're failing all the time. When a little toddler is learning to walk, the fear of failure is not a thing for them. They try, they fall, they fail, they get up, they try, they fall, they fail, until they can do it, until they can walk, until they can do it properly, because they have no meaning attached to it. They don't have a belief that means, if I fail at this, therefore, and that will be slightly different for all of us, but it could be something like, if I fail at this, that means I'm no good. That means I'm not good enough. That means I'm not worthy of love. That means, and we could go further and further into those things, but I would encourage you to name specifically, not just the name of the fear, but what that means to you. If I try this thing, I believe this is going to happen, and that will mean this. So for your own one, start to examine it, name it specifically, and start to ask yourself, if I do try this thing and I fail at this thing, what's the worst that would then happen? If someone on social media makes a negative comment on my post, what does that mean? What's the worst that could happen? Could I deal with that? And as we start to dig deeper, we can start to stack up the positives and examine the negatives and go, okay, if someone makes a negative comment on my social media post, even if it was something that was really important to me, could I handle that? Could I respond with grace? Could I ignore it altogether? Could I delete the comment? Could I talk to my friends so that they can tell me, oh, forget about them, that's fine? Are there things that I could do to counteract that? And could I prove to myself that I don't have to have a belief that I can't post stuff on social media because what if people say bad things about it? I could have a different belief. And we're going to look at how to put in a fresh belief after we've examined that root belief. So the third step in upgrading our belief system is to write out a fresh belief instead. So if our belief is, I'm reluctant to post on social media because I believed in the past, my root belief was that if someone comments negatively on it, that will mean that I must be a failure and I must be not good enough. We can instead write a fresh belief, which could go something like this. I can post on social media freely and happily because whatever people comment, it doesn't affect who I am. It doesn't affect my desire for the things that I'm doing, and it doesn't reflect on me as a person. So if we're writing that fresh belief down, then we're not only disempowering the old belief, we're putting something new and fresh on top of it. They say if you are watching something on TV and you're trying to get it out of your head, instead of turning the TV off, you want to change the channel. So we're changing the channel on our beliefs. We are disempowering the old belief, root belief, and we're putting in a fresh belief. So writing it down in a powerful statement is, and that's something I'm going to get you to do for yourselves in a moment, is going to help you to, again, put it onto paper and see it separately from yourself so that you can evaluate it and look at it and decide whether it's true and what you want to believe instead. The fourth thing to do, the fourth step, is to reinforce your fresh belief. I chose this picture of a woman with her headphones on because not only do you need to silence the old beliefs that are trying to get in, but to replay and replay and replay our fresh belief to get it into our system. There's an old Hebrew proverb that says, faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing. So the things that we reinforce to ourselves are the things that are going to become fresh beliefs for us. And often the root beliefs that we have been reinforced over many, many, many years. And so they're going to take some shifting. Like that turning a big ship, we're going to need to reinforce our fresh belief over and over again. What I like to do is I have a corner in my room where I put up encouraging thoughts and sayings, and I write up my power statements of things that I want to believe that are going to counteract the old beliefs, the limiting beliefs that were keeping me stuck. And instead I can, when I start to feel that self-doubt coming, when I start to feel my limiting beliefs being triggered, I can go back to those power statements and reinforce them for myself. So just to go over that again, the 4-step belief upgrade formula: when you feel a limiting belief being triggered, when a negative emotion comes up, the first thing to do is to name the root belief, is to dig down and find out what it is that you're believing that's causing you to have a negative reaction. The second step is to examine the root belief, to decide if it's valid, if it's true. And most of the time we'll find that there is a lie in there somewhere that we've been believing that's been keeping us small. So we want to disempower that old belief. Name, examine, and disempower the old belief. Then we want to write in our fresh belief what we want to believe instead, that's going to be able to move us forward and take the action towards our dreams. And then we want to keep reinforcing our fresh belief until it becomes automatic. If you think of, if there is a belief that you might have had maybe as a child that you no longer have as an adult. Maybe as a child you were afraid of the dark, and maybe as an adult you're no longer afraid of the dark. So as a child you had a belief that the dark was scary and something bad might happen. As an adult, just in the normal course of turning the light out to go to bed, somewhere in there you changed your belief. You reinforced your fresh belief that I'm an adult now and I can handle the dark. So it's the same kind of process that was happening automatically, but we want to be more intentional about making that happen. So I want to give you some time, some personal time to be able to, and I'm just going to stop sharing for a second, to write to choose a limiting belief that's been affecting you, maybe one that was triggered when you saw Mindset and Confidence for Creatives and were connecting with what it was that has been holding you back, and go through this process on the worksheet. Either or on a piece of paper or on your computer. What I'm going to do is I'll pop the slide up again. If you want to stop your videos, you're welcome to do that as well. I'm going to stop mine and I'm going to put the slide up for you. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do that. And that will take us through to about 7:48. And take some time to really think about what it is that's keeping you from moving forward in your world. Name that old belief, examine it, write down your fresh belief, and reinforce that. Decide how you're going to reinforce that fresh belief. So here we go. I'm going to pop some music on for you. Alrighty, how did we go there? Just wrap up what you're doing there, and if you'd like to share in the chat some of your positive beliefs. I was doing the exercise with you as well, so I can share my learnings too, but if you want to just pop down, I'd love to see people's fresh beliefs. What are you going to believe instead when these negative thoughts come, when these beliefs are triggered? There's some positive power statements that you can put down to share with everybody else. And then we can have these in place. For me, it's just reminding myself that I have the experience and I have the skills that I need to, and that I have valuable things to share, like with the social media reluctance to share. It's to remind myself. For example, I post on social media a lot. So a powerful belief for me would be, I have 20 years experience in doing this. I have gold to share. I've learned things that have helped me. And so if I say to myself, the content that I am sharing, I have found helpful, then there are going to be other people out there that find that will find helpful as well. Olivia says, I can connect with others through my writing. And that's beautiful, because when we write something, and I remember, I believe it was Ellen J. Lerner who quoted, when we write something, the fear is that I'm the only one who feels that way, when the truth is that everybody, we have a universal human experience. And so we can trust that there may be people who misunderstand us, but there will always be people who do understand us. So that's beautiful, Olivia. And I'm glad that I would recommend that everyone reinforce their fresh beliefs by putting their belief up somewhere, putting your statement up so that you can see it, so you can read it. Bathroom mirror is a great one. Back of the toilet door is a great one, so that you're seeing it regularly and constantly throughout the day. For me, I have a space in the back of my wardrobe door. So every time I open my wardrobe, I've got all these power belief statements up on the back there that I just take a moment to stop. And reading it aloud is helpful as well, because it really gets it into our minds, our subconscious minds, when we hear our own voice almost like preaching truth to ourselves. And we preach it, sister, preach it, brother, preach to yourself that you are amazing, that you have good stuff to share, that you don't have anything to fear. I love this as well. Kat's fresh belief. I'm capable. I can handle anything. I'm even believing it for myself, even though it's Kat's words. This is the power of the spoken word to ourselves. I'm capable. I can handle anything. I have unique brilliance and add massive value. So each one of us can say that, because we all have amazing experiences to share. Trixie's one, I am valuable, accepted, and fully capable to bring healing to the nations through my creativity, to bring healing through creativity. That's so beautiful. Alex, oh, it's not viable to follow my passions. That was his root belief. And isn't that, I love showing how our brains just massively generalize. Our brains just make a big blanket statement. When we start to examine that, it's not viable to follow my passions. There's so many layers to that. But Alex's fresh belief is something is better than nothing. That's awesome. And following my passions is fulfilling and will heal myself and others. Beautiful. See, this is what I mean. I keep meeting amazing creatives who want to bring healing to others through creativity. And that is just so precious. Trixie says, I don't like to hear my own voice, still working on that. Again, like everything, things take time to practice, and the more we practice things, the more comfortable we can be with them, and the more we're reinforcing their own beliefs. So even hearing your own voice, Trixie, as you reinforce your confidence. Trixie and I have been on a coaching journey, and we've talked about confidence, and Trixie's made great strides in that, and that's a continued practice to keep moving forward. Kirsty Emma's fresh belief, I can reignite and remember that knowledge and skills and relearn things if I need to. How amazing. That just cuts right across our brain, because I can imagine, because I'm Kirsty Emma, I feel similar things sometimes. The brain's probably saying, oh, it's too hard, and what if you've forgotten, and what if you can't do it anymore? But then we can always relearn skills, we can always reignite and remember. Often as human beings, we need to be reminded more than we need to learn new stuff. It's about reigniting and remembering the things that we have done, and I'm actually going to be touching on this in the foundational focuses of how to keep our confidence high. So that's awesome, Kirsty Emma. That's a nice segue. Thank you very much. I am going to just share my screen again, and we'll look at the next piece in here. This is something I love to share, because what I call my #1 piece of advice for creatives, like I've said, that the fears, the self-doubt, the negativities, the old beliefs, even though they're unpleasant, and it would be great to get rid of them just because they're unpleasant sensations, the most important reason we want to get rid of them is so that we can take action, so that we can keep moving forward, so we have something to show for our creativity. So my #1 piece of advice for creatives, because I meet so many people who have a dream, have a vision, something they want to do. And so I always say, because we want to get out of the vagueness and into reality, this is what I like to teach, is to turn your vision into a 12-week project. Now, there are some reasons for this. First of all, I love what something is better than nothing. That's just a great quote right there. Something is better than nothing. So anything that is done and finished is better than a vague dream that you can't show to people, that you can't say, look what I did. I meet writers who say, oh, I'm working on this, or I've got this idea for this. And I'm like, oh, what have you done? Well, there's nothing I can show you, or I've got a half-finished song or a half-finished painting, but we can't share with people something that's not finished. So turning your vision into a 12-week project, first of all, 12 weeks is long enough to do something significant, but not so short that you can't get your head around that 12-week span. So even if you've got vague dreams, I would always say to give yourself a deadline, the power of a deadline. If you, for example, you're thinking to write and produce a play. So that might be a longer than 12-week project, but I would say put a 12-week boundary around it and say, okay, what can I make my 12-week milestone be? Maybe my 12 weeks can be spent drafting the first draft of the play and gathering a bunch of actors to do a first read through. That way you can put a date to that you can say, okay, I have finished this, it's completed. And then when you finish an aspect of a project, it gives you greater clarity to move forward with the next piece. For an artist, they may decide to do an online exhibition over a 12-week period. The reason I say 12 weeks and not 24 weeks or 6 months or a year is that it's too easy to let those deadlines slide. You want to make it so that you've got something to show at the end of 12 weeks. And it takes a little bit of a push, and it takes a little bit of facing those limiting beliefs, because if you ever want to meet your limiting beliefs, step out of your comfort zone and make a commitment to something. And then all the limiting beliefs will pop up and tell you all the reasons why you can't do it, which is why a 12-week project is so powerful, because it will expose the limiting beliefs so that you can get rid of them and move forward. I have just a quick 12-week project recommendations. Often creatives say to me, what should I do? What should I make my 12-week project recommendation? And so if you find yourself on here for writers, I would suggest in 12 weeks you could outline a novel and draft, say 10 chapters, 5 to 10 to 15 chapters. I've done this with some of my creative clients. That puts a 12-week deadline. Instead of like, I want to write a book, which seems huge, you can put a boundary around that, or publish a series of articles. Artists and also craftspeople, I suggest a a showcase, either an online or a local showcase of your work within 12 weeks. Music makers record and release an original single within that 12-week period. Performers and presenters create a show reel. Entrepreneurs package up a product and trial it with people. Creative leaders create a project proposal and pitch it to stakeholders. So put a 12-week stake around that. And that's something that I can advise people on. I often advise my clients on those. So having a project, I encourage you to be thinking about what a 12-week project for yourself could be. Sevgi, one of my clients, is a writer, and she had been thinking about writing a book for a long, long time, for many, many years, but she hadn't actually sat down and done it. But when she started coaching with me, she put a 12-week deadline of getting the outline and half of the first draft done, a goal which she smashed out of the park. She ended up writing over 25,000 words in the 12-week project, and now she's on my Creative Project Accelerator program, and she's completing the second draft of her novel. So doing things in 12-week blocks really helps our brain to get around things. We can see the finish line. Luke is a writer and artist. He was an animator. He was very frustrated because a colleague of his was waiting on him to write the story that he was illustrating, but I encouraged him to start writing for himself. And now Luke has a fantasy epic that he's turned into a draft. He started to outline and put chapters together. So he's been able to take action with that mindset of the 12-week program. And Jackie, she was a successful singer and songwriter, but she'd never done an album launch party before. So she came to me for coaching, and she said, I want to be supported while I do a 12-week pre-launch lead up to my album launch party. So I was able to help and guide and support her through that. And she, at the end of her 12 weeks, had a launch party for her album, which was amazing. She performed with her friends. She organized the venue, all the different bits and pieces, did the marketing, and was supported in her journey over those 12 weeks. So while we're talking about this mindset and confidence stuff, have a think about what your 12-week project could be. Because I tell you what, one of the biggest things that will give you confidence is being able to say, look what I finished, look at what I did, look what I've got to show for that. And I'll touch on that in the foundational focuses as well. But the beauty of a 12-week coaching program is that I can support you to finish something in 12 weeks. So you can build your confidence by going, I have something to show for the last 12 weeks of my life. But I do want to now jump into our Masterful Body-Shift Techniques. I'm going to talk them through, and then I'll stop the PowerPoint so we can do them together and I can demonstrate them for you. But who knows that sometimes, even when we're working on our mindset to stay confident, our body can sometimes feel like it's betraying us. I know for me, when I'm facing something that is new, that is a little bit scary and daunting, I tend to get a little bit breathless. I tend to get a little bit shaky, and my heart starts to race. But there are things that we can do, techniques that we can put into place to help our body through these processes. So the first thing that I would say as we manage our body's response to fear is about dealing with shakiness. To minimize trembling or shakiness, there's a clench and release technique that I like to use. And that's something that we can actually do in our chair. If you have shaky hands, shaky knees, any shakiness in your body, what we can do is we can clench the muscles really, really tightly, as tight as we can, hold that for 10 seconds, and then release. And then clench again as tight as you can for 10 seconds and release. Okay, are we up for some activation? Should we practice this together? Let's imagine that just while you're sitting in your chair, let's imagine that you're about to give a presentation and of your own creativity. You're sharing your work with someone, and you're feeling the shakiness in your body. So let's imagine that when I say go, you're going to clench every muscle in your body as hard as you can for a count of 10. Actually, we'll make it a count of 5, and then release. And we'll do that 3 times. And you'll feel the difference in your body, and I'll talk you through that. So, okay, when I say go, you're going to clench every muscle in your body as tight as you can. Okay, you ready, set, go. And you're clenching, and we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. And we'll do it again. We're ready to clench, and ready, set, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. And we'll do it one more time. Ready, set, clench. 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. If you're anything like me, you will now feel warmer than you did before, and you will feel a sense of release. We tend to keep tension in our shoulders, which leads to coldness and shakiness in our hands. And we tend to keep tension in our hips, which leads to coldness and shakiness in our lower limbs and our feet. So that clench and release technique is helpful to manage our body's response to fear in a minimizing trembling or shaking. We can also regulate our breathing when we start to get shaky breathing going on, taking slow breaths in and doing slow breaths out. Just bringing mindfulness to our breath and remembering to breathe can help to manage and regulate that as well. And you can hear how even my tone is changing, the way that I'm speaking is changing as I'm bringing more focus to my breath. I get so excited to share with you guys that my breathing tenses up, but when I bring intentional slowness to that, then it brings a regulation. Another thing we can do with our breath is there are automatic responses in our body that seem to be beyond our control, things like digestion, things like our nervous system, but a racing heartbeat, we can affect our heartbeat if we breathe in for 5, hold for 5, and breathe out for 5. I'll take you through a demonstration of that as well. So I won't do it, but I'll allow you to do it as I speak you through. So we'll do that, breathe in for 5, hold for 5, and breathe out for 5. And that helps to regulate our heartbeat. So on the count, so when I say go, we're going to breathe in for 5. So ready, go. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I'm waiting in a waiting room for an audition, for example, this is a technique that I will use while I'm dealing with negative thoughts, or I'm dealing with the thoughts of having to go in, but it's also something that I can do to stabilize my body. So those are some things we can do to counteract our body's responses to fear, but we can also be proactive and reposition our body for strength. So this is something I'll talk us through, and then I will take us through a demonstration. So the first thing that we're going to practice doing is to stand grounded with our feet firmly planted on solid ground. When we feel nervous, a tendency can be to shift our weight back and forth, to stand on one leg, to lean, to put our hands in our pockets. But if we plant our feet firmly on solid ground, not only does it ground our bodies, but it also tells our mind that we are in control, that we are standing on solid ground. And there's something that shifts our mindset around that as well. The second thing is to stand in a superhero posture. This is something I recommend that we do while we're alone, although you may want to do it in an audition room or before a presentation as well. Shoulders back, chest out, and arms strong, even hands on hips, just to put our body in a defiant posture. So our feet are firmly planted, our shoulders are back, our chests are out, our arms are strong. And the third thing is our face needs to be feisty. Our face is feisty, our head is high, our chin is determined, and we've got a big smile on our face. So when we have our feet firmly planted, our shoulders back, chest out, arms strong, head high, chin determined, big smile, it's amazing what that does for us. So while we're working on the mindset stuff, which can be done in a moment, but is also done over time, we can also shift our confidence quite instantly with these masterful body techniques. And what I'd love to do is, if you're game for it, if you're up for it, you can stand with me and do it. But if you want to keep your privacy, you can turn your camera off. But I do recommend that rather than just sit and absorb, there is something powerful about getting this stuff in our body. So give me a wave if you're up for doing an activation with me. Yeah, excellent. We've got a few waves. Okay, I'm going to put my chair aside. I'll put that over there. And I'm going to stand. Can you still see me? I might just adjust my camera. If you're in a place where you too can stand, I invite you to stand. Awesome. This is going to shift in a way that that's going to be powerful, because we're so often used to sitting at a desk, and it's quite a passive pose. And let's first of all practice. If you were feeling very scared, very sad, very depressed, how would your body show that? Let's stand like someone who's very unself-confident. See, we're dropping our shoulders, we're dropping our head, our knees are dropping. And we can feel in our body, because we know what it feels like to feel sad and feel down. But we're going to now reposition our body for strength. So the first thing is feet planted firmly on the floor. So your weight's distributed evenly over both feet. Your heels, your toes, the balls of your feet are touching the ground. Then we're going to put our shoulders back. We're going to put our chest out, and we're going to put our hands on our hips. We're going to stand like a superhero. And I want to see attitude in the body, okay? I want to see a little bit of dipping of the hips, so we're standing strong, we're standing firm. And then we're going to make our face feisty. I want your head high, looking out into the horizon like you're Wonder Woman, like you're Superman, looking at the enemies out there. Your chin is lifted, and I want you to put a big smile on your face. And now, in this position, I want you to say loudly, I am awesome. 1, 2, 3, I am awesome. And again, 1, 2, 3, I am awesome. 1, 2, 3, I am awesome. I love Carly's even doing the hands in the air. Let's do 2 hands in the air. I am awesome. And again, I am awesome. I am awesome. And now we're going to do a little jog on the spot. Little jog on the spot. See, I'm seeing more smiles than before. I am seeing more confidence. Okay, now we're going to stand, plant your feet firmly again. Shoulders back, chest out, arms superhero. Eyes to the horizon, chin up, face feisty and big smile. And one more time, I am awesome. And both arms, I am awesome. Give yourselves a silent round of applause. Fantastic. Come and sit down again. Now, if you're anything like me, your breathing is different. Your cheekbones have had a little bit of a workout. Your blood is circulating more. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I've got more energy. It's amazing how much energy I've put in my body just by doing some basic, very basic. How long did that take? Like less than 2 minutes? So many great personal development gurus talk about putting yourself in a powerful state before you need to do something. So who feels like they would be able to better tackle their creative action now than from this? Yeah, yes, thank you. I feel like I could take on the world now, and all I did was shift my body and become aware of my mind. So your body is a powerful ally. So bring it on board in your confidence. Remember to, and this is not rocket science that I'm teaching you. It's probably stuff that we learned in primary school when our primary school teachers tried to teach us good physical health and good posture. So just remember, I find that sometimes when I'm bogged down at my desk, the best thing I can do is get up, go for a walk, put some energy back in my body, and it in turn feeds my confidence, which fuels my mindset, and my mindset then fuels my body again. So, woo, awesome. I'm feeling pumped. Let's go to the next section of what I'd love to teach you tonight, which is what I call the 3 foundation focuses for confidence. I believe that every human being is amazing. I believe that everyone, even if they've had the most unfortunate series of life circumstances, everyone has something to share. Everyone has gold in them, and everyone has things that they can bring to mind to reinforce confidence, because our minds will respond to what we feed them with. And so if we're feeding them thoughts of self-doubt and fear and negativity, then they're going to go, oh, wow, the world must be a terrible place and I must be a terrible person and everything's terrible. But if we feed them thoughts of positivity and I'm amazing, I'm capable, I'm strong, then these will start to snowball and will build and boost our confidence. And so I've identified 3 major focuses to build confidence in your life. The first one is to focus on your strengths. So often we think about the things we're doing wrong, the things that we wish we were stronger, and the things that are weaknesses or flaws, things that other people might have commented on, and we just spiral ourselves down in that. But when we focus on our strengths, when we intentionally bring remembrance to the things that maybe other people have told us, maybe someone said, oh, Sarah, you're really good with kids, or you write really well, or I love what you did with that painting. So focus on the strengths and our skills, the things that we can bring to the table that often that we take for granted. When other people have gone, wow, how did you do that? Often it's because it's a strength that we don't even realize that we have because it comes so naturally to us. But when we're wanting to build confidence, we really need to focus in on our strengths. In Kiwi and Aussie culture in particular, I'm not sure how it is around the rest of the world, but there also needs to be a giving ourselves permission to feel confident, because confidence has had negative connotations. And sometimes with the whole tall poppy syndrome, to be confident means to put your head above the crowd, means to stand out. And our cultures have tried to teach us that that's not always a good thing. But if we give ourselves permission to be confident, decide for ourselves, like we were talking about earlier, what success means, what confidence means, what does confidence mean for you? And that's a great question to ask yourself tonight as well. What would it look like if you were living in confidence? What would it feel like? How would your life be different if you were living in confidence? And to give yourself permission to live in that confidence. So focusing on our strengths, first of all, if you need permission from someone else, I give you permission to focus on your strengths, to go, I am really good at X, Y, Z. I have great strengths in these areas. Because then you know what you're bringing to the world, you know that you're contributing, and it will feed into your posture, your confident stance. So focusing in on your strengths. As well as your strengths, focus in on your wins. Even if you're at the beginning of your creative journey, or if you're a little bit further down, there are some wins that you can identify in your life that you can keep coming back to focus on, to remind yourself that you have had success in these areas. Maybe the other people have paid you compliments. Maybe you have won an award, or won a job position, or been given a promotion or a privilege because of something that you've done or something that you've achieved. Even if you're at the beginning of your creative journey, there'll be wins in other areas of your life. Even if you have to go back to school and remember an assignment you did really well on in your field, or any other skills. So focus in on the times when you won, and this will fill up your confidence bank, so that you've got a little bit of margin to cope with a few failures or mistakes along the way. So if you've got enough wins, you can take a few hits and it won't affect you materially in moving forward. So focus on your wins, focus on the things that you've done really well at. And the third thing, and this is really, really big, is to focus on your self-talk. Because most of the time, the problems and the blockages and the challenges in our lives are not outside of us. They're not other people. They're not challenges of circumstance or the weather or whatever. It's what we're saying to ourselves. And our emotional state and our beliefs are so within our power to change. And my big advice here is to talk to yourself like you would talk to a best friend. Like, would you talk to a friend the way that you talk to yourself sometimes? Just make sure that you're encouraging, like this lady in the mirror is talking to her, is viewing herself, smiling at herself, saying you can do this, you're awesome, you're amazing. And again, give yourself permission to be your own cheerleader, to be self-talking yourself up. I had a really interesting conversation recently with a lady who was saying how when you're a kid, everyone's saying, oh, you're so awesome, buddy. Oh, you're such a little champion. And then you grow up and you kind of look around and usually people aren't doing that anymore. Everyone's so focused on themselves. So first of all, I love to be a supporter and a cheerleader for others, because I think it shouldn't stop just because we're grown-ups. But secondly, we have to learn to be our own cheerleaders and bring that strength and that support to ourselves and to our own lives and creativity through the power of our self-talk. So that's something that is really important to focus on. I want to take you on another activation right now. It's not a standing up and shouting one, and this is something that I would actually encourage you to turn your videos off for, but I've got my piano here with me tonight, and I'm going to bring some music, and I'm going to bring a moment of taking you into your imagination as I speak you through a guided visioning process. So I invite you now to just pop your videos off so you've got privacy, so you can have your own space. I'm just going to take a quick drink of water. And this is a time for you to imagine the you that you would love to be, the confident you, the self-assured you, the you that has shifted limiting beliefs, that has replaced root beliefs with fresh beliefs. And now I'm going to take you on a journey of what life looks like, how life feels on the other side of that. So just find a comfortable position to sit in. Close your eyes. You don't need your notes or your pens or anything like that for this. Just find a comfortable position. Breathe in and out. Relax. And just listen to my voice and listen to the music. I'd love for you to imagine that you are living the dream in your heart. Imagine that you've achieved the things that you would love to achieve. First of all, how will you know that you've achieved them? What will that look like? What will have changed? What will you have to show for the creative work you've done? And how will you feel differently to now once you've done those things? Think specifically about your confidence levels. How different will your confidence be? Will you still have the same level of questioning of yourself? Of self-doubt? Or will there have been a shift? When you've achieved those things you want to achieve, what will you be feeling? And what will be different? What actions will you take differently with a new level of confidence? Really feel that confidence of success, of achievement, of knowing that you overcame the obstacles. And bring that confidence back to where you are now. And know that you can feel that confidence anytime you want. If you feel that confidence that you can achieve, that you can succeed, what goal could you set over the next 12 weeks that would give you that sense of achievement, that sense of accomplishment, that confidence of being creative with purpose, with meaning? What could you do? think about the next 3 months, the next 12 weeks. What could that time look like? If you decided to overcome self-doubt, if you decided to step into confidence, if you stood like a superhero every morning and tackled the day and tackled the action steps on the road to making your dream happen. Just take a nice deep breath in and deep breath out. Think about that creative success, that creative achievement. And feel again in your body that confidence. Lift your chin and smile. Put your shoulders back, put out your chest. Even in your own head, say again, I am awesome. I am awesome. I am awesome and I can achieve whatever I set out to achieve. I can walk in confidence. I can overcome challenges. I can live my dreams. Just take another deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, open your eyes and join us again. Oh, there's such power in going into our imagination and connecting with our future, because our future only exists in our imagination. We can make plans, we can have dreams, we can take action, but either fear or hope are intangibles because they're based on projected futures. They're not things that have actually happened yet. They're just imagined. I want to share a little story of one of my clients, Ruth, who came on board to coach with me because she had a book that she wanted to write. She had been a speaker for some time and had this idea for a book, but hadn't been previously published, and she was looking for support and coaching with the editing and writing advice. But when she started coaching with me, she just got on board with confidence. I saw her have to deal with self-doubt and have to push through sometimes where she was thinking, is this ever going to happen? Is this any good? Is anyone ever going to want to read my book? But she pushed through that process. She stepped into confidence. She practiced her public speaking skills. And now she's actually published 2 books since I met her in September last year. So in the last 2 years, she's put those together, because it's not, like I said before, it's not the actual creative stuff that's the problem, it's the mindset issue. And so just have another think again, what would your 12-week project be? We're now at the moment in October, so by December, January time, what could you achieve in that time to be able to say, look at what I did, here is where my confidence is based because this is what I have done. And again, mindsets, limiting beliefs can sometimes come up around, oh, it's getting towards the end of the year, it's Christmas. But again, these are limiting beliefs that we can move past. If you had a gun to your head and you had to achieve your creative dream in the middle of the Christmas period, you would be able to do it. So you can decide how to spend the next 12 weeks of your life, and whether that's in traditional activities or whether it's being sucked into work stuff or the traditional busyness of Christmas, or you can put time aside and put your confidence into a 12-week project that's going to move your dreams forward. I love to, in these sessions, do a little bit of personal helping for anyone. I would love to see if you could pop into the chat box during that guided visualization, and when I talked about what you could achieve over the next 12 weeks, I'd love to hear you pop up into the chat. What were you imagining that you could achieve in that 12 weeks? What could a creative project be? I know that some of you have gotten into that mentality, that mindset of thinking in 12-week blocks. And so in terms of a writing project, an artistic project, that's wonderful that Alex is offering support. So have a think about and share with the group what a 12-week project could be for you. For me, I'm actually writing my first book at the moment that I'm going to be publishing in December. So I've got a very clear 12-week project that I'm working on, and I'm able to work it out step by step and stay focused on the goal because I actually have a date in mind, and I have support and a coach that's working with me through that. Corals, who's on the chat as well, is working on a 12-week project coaching program with her photography and painting. She's putting up an exhibition before the end of November, which is fantastic, and we're able to support her. She's part of a group coaching program, and we're going to be able to support her in that. So yes, Olivia's like, go Coral. If you're still wondering about what a 12-week project might be, my suggestion would be I always like to write a first draft, to draft or to suggest an idea to yourself, because until you actually take your ideas and put them into at least an initial plan, with a plan you can start to work with it. But if it's still nebulous and vague, then that's out there, and that's okay. But what I'd like to do now is what I call the coaching chair. So you have an opportunity. I love to give creatives specific advice on what they can work on, what they can do. And if any of you would like to be brave and confident and practice the confidence we've been talking about tonight, and have just a 5-minute chat with me, with the group, so that we can all see together and all help and support. I love how Alex has popped her hand up. Alex can be cheering you on as well. But is there someone who would like to give me a wave and unmute themselves and say, yes, Vicki, I'd like to have a chat with you about what I could spend the next 12 weeks doing. Do we have a brave person, a brave volunteer? Oh yes, we have a hand up. Olivia, would you like to unmute yourself there? Oh, I think you unmuted yourself and then I muted you again. There we go. Lovely. Hello.
Thanks everyone.
Yay.
I'll try and keep it short, but
no problem.
I've managed to get myself out of a slight rut with just having really difficult times at work with meeting this magician.
Oh, okay.
So every week I call this magician. He's actually at this place. He does professional magic tricks, like card tricks, at this quite nice restaurant.
Yes.
But he also is actually kind of retired and doesn't have to work again, and he's had this amazing business career. So he gives me, he's basically like a mentor for my work problems that I have.
Okay.
But I think he offers these really great anecdotes between magic and how to deal with people.
Yes.
Like reading the situation or tailoring what you're saying to people and responding inside of the situation. And it does relate to, the real world quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a lot out of it. And I was thinking it would be a really cool book as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So you mean his life story or his wisdom?
His bite-sized pieces of wisdom. Okay. Like I probably talked to him for about half an hour, and then he just drops all these like amazing things. And he actually told me the other day that he has met lots of people, and I'm like one of 2 people that bothered to call him and take him up on. He's just really helpful and positive, and so I feel really lucky. And then I think that there's something there that I could have as a project somehow.
Fantastic. That's awesome. And Olivia, and what I would say to everyone is that who's ever had an idea of, oh, that would be really cool, and then nothing's come of it? Yeah. Okay. So Olivia, my advice to you, as would be my advice to everyone, is am I correct in thinking that you're looking for a project, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And something fun, just not like another work thing,
Yes. Okay. How would it be if I suggested that over the next 12 weeks, you make a plan to draft the outline for this book and to start writing, let's say, 5 chapters of the book? What would your response be to that?
I don't know it's hard to me to see an outline, but
Okay. So good. So what we're seeing, and I hope you don't mind me kind of demonstrating with you, Olivia, but what we're seeing is as soon as a coach comes along and says, right, let's do this, the thoughts start popping up. So I would love to hear, Olivia, for the sake of the exercise, can you give me 3 good reasons why you shouldn't do this project? First of all, I don't know how to write an outline.
Yeah, okay, yeah, let's just use that. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, what's another good reason why you shouldn't do this?
Maybe it would affect our friendship if I was using him for material.
Okay, there we go. Maybe it would affect our friendship. Okay, one more reason. How about time?
Am I just using his wisdom, or do I have actually something to offer as well by doing this, or am I just taking what he's giving?
So, okay, so you'd let's frame that as, I wouldn't know whether to just use his wisdom or add my wisdom as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 3 reasons. Let's have a look at those reasons, Olivia. And I would probably add a few other ones it sounds like when we're thinking about starting a project, there's also another reason of, what if this is the wrong project?
Yeah.
What if there's another thing to happen? Can I ask, Olivia, how long have you been thinking of doing a writing project?
I mean, I write all the time, but I don't share or do anything in the real world. So it's like,
right. Okay. Would you like to, though? Would you like to have something?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think I really resonated with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because it's not, no one really knows, and it's just, it's not healthy in a way. Like it would be nice if I could get something out of it, probably.
Totally. And this is the beauty of a 12-week project too, because you're not committing to, this is the only project you're ever going to do, and it's going to take the next 10 years of your life. Like but our subconscious mind sort of responds as if that's what we're asking of it. So Olivia, my advice to you, just in the brief time that we have, and first of all, who thinks a magician's book of wisdom sounds like a great project? Yeah, exactly. So Olivia, if I was you and if I was coaching you, I would say, just commit to 12 weeks of seeing what happens. Give yourself, decide, okay, I'm going to work out how to write an outline. Who thinks that Olivia could find online some examples of outlines of the book? Yep, excellent. Who thinks Olivia could navigate her friendship with this magician to keep it healthy even as she's writing this book project? Excellent.
Thanks, guys.
Who thinks Olivia would never regret writing this book? Yeah. Who thinks Olivia might regret getting to 12 weeks and not having done anything?
I've been letting you guys down now, so
no pressure. And Olivia, I hope you hear at my heart that I want to help you to achieve your dreams. And if your dream is to be a writer, then to start on this project, to throw your heart into it for 12 weeks, like by February, if you feel that you've gone down a wrong track, then you can start another project. But at least in 3 months' time, you will have got at least the foundations. And if it's just a short book, if it's a coffee table book, you can probably have the first draft done in 12 weeks.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. See how Olivia's countenance is changing just because something has shifted, and we've been able to speak confidence into her and support confidence into her. So, and that's just a beautiful lead in, Olivia, because I want to talk about how I would suggest that you guys structure the next 12 weeks of your life, because who feels like they could do something really cool in the next 12 weeks? Yeah. Kirsty Emma's got half a hand up. Okay. Thank you so much, Olivia. I appreciate your vulnerability. It's not easy to put something out there, but see what we did there? We named the beliefs that might keep Olivia from taking this step. We examined them to see if they were valid, and then we put some fresh ones in place. And so that's just like a little microcosm example of how we can all do that in our own lives. And we all have stuff in our heads that would keep us from doing the stuff that kind of doesn't seem as big when we actually name it. So thank you for sharing, Olivia. And from that, I would love to go into showing you how I suggest the next 12 weeks can look, because now that we've talked about mindset and confidence, now that I've given you confidence, I've helped you to overcome that self-doubt. What are we going to do with this confidence? And I've helped you to imagine the next 12 weeks. The question is, where do we go from here? The thing that I would hate the most is for you to go, okay, there was some great content tonight, and then tomorrow and the next day and the next day, just go back into your life and routine. And if I spoke to you in 12 weeks, you might have nothing more to show than you had tonight, because the point of tonight is to get you out there taking action and dreaming. And so my question would be for each of you, what action are you going to take from tonight? Are you going to go and write down your 12-week project? Are you going to go and start making a plan? Are you going to write down, if there are things you don't know how to do, write down, I need to research this, and I need to research this, and or I need to talk to this person. Because when you want to accelerate your creative progress, I'm guessing that if you're on this webinar, it's because you're not making progress as fast as you wanted to make it. And if you're struggling alone, and if you're staying inside your own head, then that's why it's important to have a vehicle to help to propel you forward. Because if you're like this woman trying to struggle in the bike up the hill, she can get off her bike and she can get in a car and work with others and have a supported structure to help her get where she needs to go. If you want to accelerate your progress and live your dreams and make your vision a reality, like Olivia with her book, which sounds amazing, I would read that book, you need to get the right strategy and skills and support. And it's not just about reading another book or doing some more research or watching some more YouTube clips. It's about actually working with an expert, someone who's been there and done what you've done. And if I could speak to young Vicki, who 20 years ago was writing her first show, the biggest thing I would say to her, to me, is don't try and work it out by yourself. Talk to people, because I was too scared to tell people, this is what I want to do. I have this dream of putting it on a show. I'm like, I'll just do it myself, and then no one can make me feel bad. But I know that I could have made such faster progress if I'd engaged an expert, if I'd gotten into some support. So the Creative Project Accelerator is a program that I've put together that's running so well to help people actually put support and strategies into their dreams, so that instead of continuing to make the progress at the same level, they're actually getting the help from other people and the structure. So the Creative Project Accelerator is a 12-week program. It's not for anyone who's not prepared to put in some work, because dreams don't just happen, and we don't just sort of get discovered one day. If we're sitting around waiting for opportunities, we need to actually be focused and taking proactive action. And it's not for people who don't feel like they're not ready to step into that confidence. If you're still not feeling like you want to step into confidence after tonight, then the accelerator is probably not for you. But it is for people who want to outwork your unique expression and finally bring something to show to the world, rather than having those unfinished works still sitting in the drawer. Having something completed. I'm so all about having something completed, whatever you can set as your goal for this 12-week period. It's about living your purpose, because you can't live your purpose if you're just sitting by yourself in your room. It's about getting out there and getting stuff happening. It's about fulfilling all the potential that's inside of you. We don't want you to die with the music still in you. And it's about living with the joy and satisfaction of knowing that you're actually on track, and week by week by week, you're making progress. So the Creative Accelerator, the group coaching program, is 12 weeks of live group coaching, similar to this, but it's a slightly smaller group, so that we've got time to talk to each person about their particular project. So everyone is on the same page, on the same boat. Everyone's working on a 12-week project. Whether you're a writer, an artist, a musician, it doesn't matter, because it's about the personal development and the confidence and the mindset of making that happen. So every week for 12 weeks, we have a live group coaching session. So 12 weeks of supportive small group coaching, personalized advice and input. So I can advise you. If we were working together, Olivia, for example, I'd be able to help you each week as you develop, as you start to work on your outline, as you come across obstacles or questions along the way. And we set weekly action steps and progress updates to keep you moving and keep you taking action. So that live weekly group coaching and support, I'm going to tell you what this is worth, and then I'm going to give you a special price at the end. So just that 12 weeks of live coaching is worth $19.95 for that 12-week period. But you also get 12 weeks of live training. So like I talked about the 7 elements of creative dream building, there's actually 7, and we've touched on just one of those tonight, just mindset. But we would look at vision, we'll look at harnessing your money, your time, your energy, and your resources. We'll look at upskilling. We're looking at getting supported and networking with the right people to get your creative work up and happening over those 12 weeks of live training. So yes, as you can see, it was just one section tonight of your mindset that we're looking at, but we will look at all the others as well, taking action, getting you moving forward. Vision, we talk about the creative vision roadmap, and I talk about how to get clarity on whether a project is the right project for you. I can already say, Olivia, that I would suggest this is the right project for you, but I can tell you how to break it down and answer the 3 C's vision confidence checklist so you can start taking action and getting results. We'll also teach you about planning and structuring to make that happen. The second module, I have a scheduling tool so that you can free up time for your project. I've got a budget template so you can get the money that you're going to need for the bits and pieces, for the editing, for the proofreading, for the printing, or for others of you for the paints, for the exhibition, for the venue, for session recording time, and how to maximize your energy so that you are still feeling fit and healthy, getting in your body, using those body shift techniques to feel confident. Module 3 is action, how to get started, how to keep going when the going gets tough, and how to enter creative flow, and how to overcome creative block, which comes to all of us, but I've got some keys to how to overcome that when that happens. Mindset as well, we go deeper into mindset. We talk about the 5 key positive thoughts for keeping your mind in a healthy place, and reframing and resilience. Resilience is a buzzword at the moment of how to keep moving on and moving forward, and how to let go of things to keep moving towards your dreams. Upskilling, we talk about learning pathways for continual growth so that you can actually become an expert in your field, and again, give yourself permission to become an expert in your field. How to overcome perfectionism and procrastination, which are other big things that creatives struggle with, and the complementary skills that you can learn to maximize your potential creatively. Support is such a key one. We're all kind of dialing in from our rooms, from our offices, from our homes tonight, but we want to create a sense of support, and I teach on how to build connection through rapport, how to build great relationships, and I will be there as a coach to support you, and you'll have an accountability group of cheerleaders, of other creatives who will also be cheering you on your journey. Even tonight, strangers are reaching out to say, I'll support you, you can do this, you're amazing, you're great. And that's the kind of culture that I build into these programs. Your network, I talk about the ecosystem, how your vision fits into the wider creative sphere, how you work with your audience, your partners, and how to personal brand yourself so that you become known for what it is that you do. We also look at the fear of rejection and how to reframe that in a similar way. That's some mindset work that needs doing there as well, so you can confidently put yourself forward and say, this is what I do and this is who I am. That training as well, those 7 elements, is worth $12.95 too, in addition to the 12 weeks of coaching. But bearing in mind what you can achieve in 12 weeks of coaching and training. So something like tonight that just continues week after week, and we build throughout the week. Also throughout the week, we have an inner circle community. So we have 12 weeks of closed Facebook group, where the one that I have running at the moment is just so great to see people posting their action steps, their progress updates. People are giving encouraging and support and feedback like we talked about. We don't get that so much nowadays, but we've got people talking to each other and saying, you're great, you're doing awesome, celebrating the wins along the way. You can also get opinions and feedback on your work. If you're like, I'm not sure if this is the right thing to be doing, or I'm not sure about this chapter, you can get feedback from other creatives. That Facebook group alone, that's worth $4.95 as well, to have that support from that inner circle community, that accountability. The second bonus is the Accelerator Vault, which is my worksheets and templates, PowerPoint slide packs of the stuff that I've taught. So you get access to all of that, and that is worth $4.95 also. The third bonus is you get unlimited messaging, private messaging with me throughout the week. So if you get stuck during the week, you don't have to wait till the next call. You can message me and I will get back to you with advice or encouragement and support when you need it. That is also worth $4.95. But I have the super surprise that I was talking about earlier on, and this is I'm really excited about, because as well as group support and training and weekly updates, I also want to offer each person who's the first 5 people who sign up for this month's training get a monthly one-on-one coaching session with me. So as well as the group stuff, as well as the Facebook group, you get a monthly 30-minute personal call with me, so I can give you personalized advice on your specific project. I can give you recommendations on your project and your action plan as you outwork it week by week, and we can overcome obstacles together. That is valued at $749, those 3 or 4 sessions that will be over the months of the next 12 weeks. So the total value for all of the Creative Project Accelerator is 5524. But because of the craziness of this year, and because I really want to see creatives empowered and up and running and getting started and taking action on their dreams, I am going to first, I just wanted to introduce you to Hazel, who's doing the Creative Project Accelerator at the moment. She's a designer and writer, and she's been searching for focus. She wasn't quite sure what she wanted to do, but through the Creative Project Accelerator, she's actually been publishing on Medium, which publishes articles. So she's a writer. Her 12-month project is to publish 6 articles over the 12 weeks and to grow to 1,000 followers. She's under 200 at the moment, but she's confident that she's growing on that trajectory. And so we're supporting her as a group to be able to do that. Whoops. And who else do I have here? I have Coralie, who's on here tonight as well. She is a photographer and painter, and she's on the Creative Project Accelerator at the moment. Her 12-week project is to launch her 2nd exhibition, which she's hard at work on at the moment. And just in the last few weeks, she set a date for that in November, and we are cheering her on to do that, which is awesome. Rachel also ran a 12-week program. She was a music therapist who wanted to run her own classes. So she's a creative entrepreneur. She'd never done classes before. So she started running her own classes, and then when COVID hit, had to go to online stuff, which she made that transition as well. But she knew that she needed the support because she hadn't done it before and hadn't done it by herself. So she really appreciated the support of coaching and has started making money from her creativity, which we would all love to do, which is awesome. Luke, I've talked about before, frequently asked questions. People often ask me things like, what if I don't have time? What if I don't have time to do my creative dream? And my answer to that would be similar to the what if I can't afford coaching type question, is how important to you is it to achieve your creative dream, and what would it mean to you if you did, and what would it mean to you if you didn't? So to prioritize it, investing in your dream is something that you will never regret and something that will take you forward to where you want to go. When does it start? The next program starts on Tuesday, the 13th of October, 7 till 8 o'clock. So similar time to what we've been doing tonight, but on a Tuesday night instead. And that runs for 12 weeks. Some people say, what if I miss a session? They're all recorded. So if you miss a session, you can go back and watch those replays as well. Is the program right for me if I don't know what creative project to do? Absolutely, because rather than struggling on your own trying to work out what to do, you can have my advice, you can have the support of the team who'll be able to give you feedback on your ideas and say, here's the path, let's just lock it in and go for it. And like we said to Olivia, you know, what's the worst that can happen? You will have a completed 12-week project at the end of that time. Like I said, it runs on Tuesdays from the 13th of October through to January. We'll take a 2-week break over Christmas, but just so we don't lose too much momentum, I'm going to offer a bonus 13th session. So we've got 2 sessions in January. So you've got that whole October to January time to get your 12-week project done. I offer a satisfaction guarantee because I don't want to work with anyone who starts and realizes this is not for them. So there's no risk with this program, because if you sign up, you find out it's not exactly what you wanted it to be or what you needed it, then I refund your money, no questions asked, because I want you to be satisfied. But I haven't had that happen, because people jump on and they get such momentum and such passion and such encouragement and support that it just makes all the difference in getting them to their dreams. If you were paying for individual coaching for a one-on-one coach in other areas, you'd be looking at paying $5,000 to $15,000 for a similar 12-week kind of period. But I want to make it affordable for everyone. So what I want to do is to take the price down for you. So for the live weekly coaching, instead of $19.95, I put a price on that of $9.97. So I cut that in half. Then the live weekly online training, I want to give that to you for free. So you've got the 12 weeks live coaching and the training I give to you for free. The members only inner circle, I give that to you as a bonus as well, as a gift. I also give you the Accelerator Vault for free, and you guessed it, I give you the private messaging support for free as well. And like I said, for the first 5 people who sign up to October's session, I give you those 4 free one-on-one coaching sessions for free as well. So you've got a total value of $5,524 with just a price of $997. And because of the craziness of this year, and I want to see people moving forward even when they've had to deal with stuff, tonight's price is actually, I'm cutting that in half again. And tonight's price, if you join the Creative Project Accelerator, is $497. So that is crazy value. I've had several of my coaches tell me that it's crazy to be offering it at this price, but I want to get momentum. I want to get help to people in 2020. So for $497, you're getting 12 weeks of coaching. You're getting 12 weeks of live training. You're getting an inner circle community of cheerleaders. You're getting the Accelerator Vault. You're getting private message support 24/7, and you're getting 4 one-on-one sessions. And those alone are worth more than the $497 that you would be paying. So if you have that dream burning inside of you, if you want to get to the end of 12 weeks, if you want to get to January and actually have something to show for it, whether that's Olivia's book outline and drafted and potentially the whole book drafted, whether that's something for yourself, an exhibition, a single, a piece of writing, then that $497 is going to be money that you won't regret spending. If you are interested in this offer, you can go to this website. Here is where you can sign up and put in your details. That's the website there, bit.ly/CPAGC yes. So if you type that in, it will take you straight to that page. I will pop that into the chat as well. But if you are interested in joining, that you're not committing at this stage, but if you're interested, if it's going, actually, that sounds like it could be what I need right now, just type the word accelerate into the chat, and that will indicate to me that I can then follow you up and show you or answer any questions that you might have and discuss whether or not that is for you. So just pop the word accelerate into the chat, and I will put that link in there as well. But at the moment, we've taken a couple of hours to talk about mindset and confidence because I want to see you getting progress and momentum on your dreams. But we've reached a choice point at the moment. You have a choice. You can either go with option 1, which is to keep doing what you're doing, trying to figure it out on your own, and making the same level of progress. So whatever progress you made in the last 12 weeks is likely to be the same progress you'll make in the next 12 weeks. So that's your option 1, and that's totally your choice to choose that. Or you could choose option 2 and get enrolled into the Creative Project Accelerator program. I call it the Accelerator because it fast tracks your result with personalized expert guidance, training, and support. So like I said, if you are interested, no commitment, but if you're interested, just pop the word accelerator into the chat. And a reminder that this is all the value that you're getting: live coaching, 7 modules of training, online community, Accelerator Vault, messaging, and your 4 monthly sessions, your one-on-one monthly sessions if you're in the first 5 people to sign up. There's the link again, bit.ly/CPAGC yes. And a reminder that that's all of this value for just $497. But I want to leave you tonight, and I will put the link into the chat before we go, but I want to remind you that whatever your creative expression, whoever you are, whatever your experience has been, the world is waiting for your unique creative expression. No one can bring to the world what you can bring. And if you don't bring it, then the world is going to be the poorer for it. So keep thinking about what action you're going to take. I'd love to have you onto the accelerator. Even if you decide not to, I wish you all the best, and I hope that you keep taking action and keep moving forward. And that is me saying thank you very much. I'm going to stick around if anyone has any questions, but you can take that email address down, and I'm going to put CPAGCYS. I'm going to put that into the chat. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pop that into the chat. Here we go. CPAGCYS. And you can go there to get further information. Did anyone have any questions about, actually what I might do is I might close things off for everyone who needs to go, but if you'd like to stick around and ask any questions, you'd be welcome. Thank you all so much for sharing so honestly and being present and engaged, and I hope you found that valuable, mindset and confidence. Do consider that 12-week idea of a 12-week project, whether that's on your own or with us, but we would love to see you on the program. So thank you very much, everyone. Give yourselves a round of applause for building your confidence and your mindset tonight. Excellent. Does anyone have any questions about the Creative Project Accelerator program that I could answer for you?
Can I just say quickly?
Yes.
I'm actually doing the course at the moment, and I highly recommend it.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, Vicky's amazing. She's helped me achieve my dreams and just so many things you don't know as a creative. So I can just say I highly recommend it. 5 stars. Go for it, guys.
That's awesome, Corals. Thank you. I wasn't sure if Corals was going to be on tonight, but that's good. Could you give us an example of something that you're doing now, Corals, that you weren't doing before?
I guess for me, like, I can do a painting and I don't need to structure it and think about it. But something like advertising an event, well, I don't know the nitty and the gritty of it because I have advertised it before, but I think there's a specific way you can do it to really build an audience where you've guided me in that. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. And that comes under the complementary skills that I talk about in upskilling, that even we're all great at what we do creatively, but there are other skills like communication, like marketing, like presenting our ideas, like pitching a proposal, that are all part of moving ourselves forward creatively. And it's classic sort of creative lament that I just wish I could just do the thing that I do, but there is supplementary stuff that needs to be done to make a vehicle to move our creativity forward. But you feel that you've learnt, Corals, since you've begun? I mean, we've had 3 weeks of the program so far.
Yeah, oh totally. I've learnt so much, and like just the online forum is so encouraging.
Yeah.
We all encourage us, but we've all become really good friends too. It's been so fun. I look forward to it.
Like I had high hopes and high expectations, but even I've been blown away at just even tonight, the support that people are showing for each other. I think as soon as someone is vulnerable enough, even if you're vulnerable enough to jump on a webinar called Mindset and Confidence for Creatives, implying that, yes, I want to level up with confidence, that implies courage as well. And I think people respond to vulnerability and want to help and want to support. People are generally nice when you connect with them in the right way, and when you have the communication skills to be that vulnerable, to build that rapport and that connection. And that is definitely the culture that I create in my groups. I'm not interested in people who are there for themselves, who are there about ego. I love the creative sphere because it's in the widest, best sense. It's not a competitive sphere. It's not like sport where there can only be one winner, but like it's not like there's one movie that won the movie award and that's the movie that everyone goes to and doesn't see any other movies. It's like we want to see all the different movies, and we want to see all the different paintings and read all the different books. So we're not in competition with each other. So we can afford to be generous. We can afford to support each other. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Corals. Olivia, are you feeling like you might actually want to do this book?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a new area for me, but the reason why I checked this out was really for that support and some sort of culture of this sort of thing, because it's really hard to create in a vacuum.
It's really hard. I feel like I should write that down, Olivia. It's really hard to create in a vacuum. It is. It takes a lot of extra push, like that lady on the bicycle. It's not impossible, but it takes longer and it's so much harder. Yeah,
and I think it's not so much, I didn't hang around here for a question, but it's just, I just want to say that you are a really good host, and it's
oh, thank you.
You know, you're and you're inclusive of everyone, so that's not easy to do. So I think I'm definitely very interested.
Oh, fantastic. And I would love to welcome you into the program as well, Olivia, and I feel like it could be a really great move for you, because it sounds it's just really interesting, because I've talked to so many creatives over the last couple of years of running these events, and I learned to sort of pick when people are just at that really important point of it. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but it could go either way with you. You could kind of tip over the edge and go full into this project, or you could stay in that zone and stay waffling, and I could talk to you in February and you could still be trying to decide what to do rather than having finished that project. So I think something like the Accelerator program could be really great for your journey, and we could have that magician's book draft.
No, I'm quite excited. Thanks so much.
Excellent. No, that would be great. That would be really great. I will send you the detail and the links, but if you jump on that link and pop in
Yeah.
And you'll get those free sessions with me as well, which will be great because I'd be able to help you. Outlining books is one of my favorite things to do. I love the outlining process. And so that's something I could specifically help you with as well.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get onto this. This
yes,
sounds good.
get onto this.
I don't want a wasted year either. And I was actually even saying to someone today, oh, you know, I need to think of chunks of time again because I've just, you know, I've had such a short view, you know, not knowing what was happening. I couldn't plan anything. And now it's like really important that I salvage what's the rest of left.
Definitely. Oh, we need to gather around you, Olivia. We need to grab you up and get you happening and get you motivated.
Oh,
that's
thanks,
absolutely
Vicki.
job. Yeah, no problem. We'll be in touch, Olivia.
Oh no, this has really cheered me up. Thanks, guys.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That's really awesome. Okay, take care and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, nice to meet you.
And you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.